What is the secret history of US taxation for Americans overseas? Imagine living abroad and suddenly facing a tax bill from the United States, even if you have not set foot on American soil for years. This is not a mistake or a myth, but a long-standing part of American tax law. The story begins in the 1860s during the American Civil War when the government introduced the first federal income tax to fund the war effort. They wanted to make sure wealthy Americans couldn't escape taxes by moving overseas, so they based taxes on citizenship, not just where you lived. This meant that even if you moved to Europe and earned all your income abroad, you still had to report and pay U.S. taxes. In 1913, the 16th Amendment made this system permanent by establishing the modern federal income tax. Over the years, courts confirmed that U.S. citizens living outside the country must pay taxes on their worldwide income. For example, in the 1920s, a U.S. citizen living in Mexico was required to pay U.S. taxes on property he owned there, and the courts upheld this. And like most countries that tax based on where you live, the United States taxes its citizens no matter where they are in the world. This creates special challenges for Americans living in Europe, where they might also owe local taxes. To help avoid double taxation, the U.S. offers tools like the Foreign Earned Income Exclusion, which allows eligible Americans to exclude a certain amount of foreign earned income from U.S. taxes each year. Currently, the exclusion amount is up to $60,000 for the tax year 2023. There is also the foreign tax credit, which lets you claim a credit for taxes paid to foreign governments, reducing your U.S. tax bill. Over time, rules have changed. In the 1960s, tax laws encouraged Americans to invest abroad, leading some to consider giving up their citizenship to avoid U.S. taxes. More recently, laws like the Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act, or FATCA, have made it harder for Americans overseas to manage their finances. Banks worldwide now report information about U.S. account holders to the Internal Revenue Service, the U.S. tax agency. For Americans living, working, or retiring in Europe, understanding this history is key. They must file U.S. tax returns every year, even if they have no U.S. income. They also need to report foreign bank accounts and investments if their total holdings exceed certain thresholds. For example, if they have more than $10,000 in foreign bank accounts at any time during the year, they must file a Foreign Bank Account Report, or FBAR. Failing to report these accounts can lead to hefty penalties, sometimes up to $25,000 per violation. Many Americans abroad work with tax professionals who understand both U.S. and European tax laws. They often use the Foreign Earned Income Exclusion to lower their taxable income and keep detailed records of all income sources. If they own property in the United States, they might owe U.S. taxes on any gains when they sell it, even if they live overseas. This history shows that U.S. taxation for Americans abroad is not just about taxes. It influences how they plan their finances, save for retirement, and decide where to live. Knowing this background helps them stay compliant and avoid surprises when it comes to their money.